Good evening. This is Steve Strimming, and you're watching the Slant. Tonight, I think I'd want to do my next episode on the possible Mr. and Miss basketballs here in Indiana. I recently just did Kentucky and then did the regions down there, and I got my girls' high school Indiana ballot done. And so I thought I'd take a little time here and just talk about some of the main boys and girls candidates for that prestigious award. I think that we start, of course, with Caleb first. Now, I got some notes and stuff here too, because no one can remember off the top of their heads. So, Caleb first is the big forward wing post player from Fort Wayne Blackhawk Christian, and they are. Look at this, Caleb. I looked this year. He's 21-3 with Blackhawk Christian. Over the last 4 years of him being in that program, they're 98 wins and only 11 losses. Caleb's averaged 21.5 points this year a game and rebounded 14.2 rebounds a game. Pretty solid stuff. Again, a Purdue graduate. Our next one is Trey Kaufman from Silver Creek. Of course, Trey is another Purdue recruit for Matt Painter, and we see what kind of great progress Matt's had with these young kids this year. The young wrecking machine up there at Purdue. Trey, of course, is averaging 27.3 points a game this year, 12.8 rebounds a game, and 3.9 assists for his team. They're 17-4. I looked this up from Trey, and since Trey's been at Silver Creek, they're 87-15, which is pretty phenomenal. Another player we want to look at is Brooks Barnheiser, who came up with his dad 3 years ago now from Alabama up to Lafayette Jeff. Brooks has had a really good year. He's averaging 34.1 points per game. It's the most in the state. He's rebounding 11.8 rebounds a game, and he still managed to assist at 6.9 a game. And that concert that they play, conference that they play in, is pretty tough. I looked this up, and since Brooks has been at Lafayette Jeff, they're 58-14. And Lafayette Jeff, I'm looking at my notes again. Lafayette Jeff has not had a losing season since the 2013-14 season. Um, I look at Blake Wesley from South Bend Riley High School. Blake's done a solid job up there, averaging over 28 points a game this year. They're 16-6 at Riley, and I just happened to look here. South Bend Riley's not had a losing season since 2014-15, and since Blake's been at Riley, they're 72-23 in his 4 years there. Another look is at Douglas Konisny. Of course, we all know him as Jr. from South Bend St. Joe. JR's averaged 29.7 points a game, rebounded almost 8 boards a game. They're 17-4, and since he's been at South Bend St. Joe, uh, they've been 29-14 just in the last 2 years. That's pretty good. And then, of course, Luke Good, the basketball baseball player, is going to Illinois. We know what kind of great season the Illini have had this year, and it's just getting better and better and better all the time. So Luke's good enough to had been really Major League Baseball player someday if he, of course, you don't get hurt and all that stuff. But Luke's Homestead team, of course, this year is unbeaten. They're 22-0. He's averaging 20.6 a game, rebounds 8.9, and has over 5 assists a game. And I was just looking up Homestead again. They're 22-0 this year. In his 4 years, there's 77 wins and 20 losses. So I kind of look at it as Caleb first, Trey Kaufman, then Brooks Barnheiser, Blake Wesley from South Bend Riley, Luke Good from Homestead, and Douglas Konisny, of course, JR from South Bend St. Joe. On the girls' side, I think Allie Becky, and I live between Avon and Brownsburg. Of course, she's Allison Becky, Allysyn, and we call her Allie. She's got Brownsburg in the state finals this weekend. Actually, going to play on Saturday night against Crown Point. She's had another solid year, 17.4 points a game, 7.9 rebounds. In her 4 years there's 76 wins and only 29 losses. Brownsburg is again not had a losing season since 2008-2009 when they went 4-17. A couple other people to look at, of course, is Erie Wiggins. Erie is the Michigan recruit, and we know how good Michigan is in basketball. Kim's done a great job up there in Michigan, and she only gets winners as on her team. That's what she's done again this year with Michigan, and that's what she's done with Erie Wiggins. Erie's averaging 27.6 points per game. At Heritage Christian, she's been 67 and 33 since she's been on that program in that program for 4 years. And here's something that most people don't think about even more ever more. Heritage Christian, since they started their program back in 2000, has really only never had any losing seasons. They had one break-even season at 12-12 with Dr. Mark Richards, which has been quite a while ago now. But Heritage Christian's never had a losing season in that school. I think another person you got to look at is Meg Newman. Basically a double-double every night. Meg's a solid player going out west to play Santa Clara. She's North Central High School. Since she's been there, they're 80 wins and only 27 losses. Of course, Brownsburg beat them in the regional a couple weeks ago, and now here Brownsburg is playing for a state title. But I think that's your top three. I think Allison Becky may be walking away with this a little bit. Again, I voted for my 10 girls I thought would make a good Indiana All-Star team against Kentucky this year. Kentucky's got a solid program. Indiana's got a solid program, and both games should be close. Let's hope they get them played. I saw the numbers for the COVID going back up today, so let's just hope that everything can get done here. The boys section will start next week. Online now at www.excel8sports.com. We have a Musings of a Hoopster with Sean Martin, and Sean's gone out on the limb and predicted all 64 boys class sectional champions in his opinion. Mike Bias is a great read on mascots then and now, and he gives a good reading on some of those and some of the peculiar names that they came up with for all that. But this has been the Slant, and this is my take on Mr. and Miss Basketball.